What is up, you guys? It's your boy John here from PumaPlow.com. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for clicking on the video. I do appreciate it. So, we are at the farm today on this beautiful Sunday. It's going to be about 80 degrees here today. And as you can see, I'm standing out here next to the rye. Look at that rye. It is just crazy. Just crazy. I've already flown the drone over the rye and a couple of our other projects that we're going to get into today. Hopefully today will be a little bit longer video, as well as the one a couple weeks ago. We are going to grade the lane today. We're going to go spray around our telephone poles today and cut the grass today. And we'll see what else we can get into today. So let's get it going. Let's do it. All right, you guys, so one of the things we're going to do today is we're going to get out our Power King, our old Power King, our 1614 with the 3-point hitch, and put the carrier on it today. So first thing we're going to do is back it out and get make sure the fuel's good, oil's good, all that kind of stuff. So you guys, I'm gonna pop the hood and check the fuel. I'm not sure where it's at. It's been a little while since we had this tractor out. This is one of those that has a gauge in it, but over the years it's not so good anymore. We'll go ahead and top it off a little bit. Why not? That means we gotta find our gas can. Where's our gas can at? I know, we should clean up our shed. But see, then we won't know where anything is. So if we clean up, we won't be able to find any of our crap. I don't want to do that. You know, they say these gas cans are no spill, but I can still spill gas with them. Hence my inner smartass is coming out now, guys. Whoa. You guys hear that in the background? Dad's out doing a little bit of trimming right now. The grass down here this week is on fleek. We didn't actually cut last week because it was nothing last week. Get here this week and look out. So should be good to go. So one of the reasons Grandpa bought this tractor back in the day was for this 3-point hitch right here. Talking to the people. He told me to tell story time, right? Okay. Oh, we need a new pin here. Alright, so one of the reasons Grandpa bought this tractor was for this 3-point hitch right here. He was able to hook it up to a bunch of his equipment and park it in this shed. And Grandpa was like a jigsaw puzzle master with parking equipment in this shed. So he would use this to put away like his planter, and you know, he only had a 6-row corn planter, so it's not like it was a big deal to park it. He would lift the tongue with this A-frame hitch, and away we go.
Alrighty, what's up, guys? I'm John, the voiceover guy, stepping in for John, the actual guy, because I didn't voice this part because the tractor was noisy. So what we are actually going to do is be getting down out of the loft our carrier, our sprayer. Back at Flood Prep, we threw both of them up in the loft back in late December there, or so back for flood prep, you know. Good old flood prep. I really hope we don't have to do it again this summer. It's not fun. But the good thing is a lot of our stuff that we would put up in the loft, we actually left up there until we need it again, like the carrier. We needed it this particular day, so we'll get the thing out of the loft. And I also want to make a note. Pretty sure I said that Grandpa had a 6-row John Deere corn planter. I'm pretty sure it was a 4-row. And while editing this, I was like, oh, I can't believe I just said that. So before my dad would call me out after watching this video, I'm going to go ahead and correct myself. I do believe it was a 4-row. I should have gotten confirmation from my dad, but I forgot to ask him. So pretty sure 4-row. Like I said, Grandpa had a sale back in 1996. And I was kind of young then, and, you know, I do remember riding in the combine with Grandpa or with Dad, like once or twice. He had an old wooden shotgun shell box that we would, us grandkids would sit on and ride around with him, and, yeah, 2-row corn head, and it was a good old gleaner, so, yeah, I do remember a little bit, and then also remember with my dad and my brother, actually, there were 3 of us in the cab. Grandpa had an old Alice Chalmers. It was his biggest tractor. It was a 4-wheel drive, and it was a big tractor for him. It was only like 100 and something horsepower, but it was a big tractor back in those days. And I can remember mowing stalks. There were 3 of us in the tractor, like I said. Dad, one of the brothers, and I. And we were out there mowing stalks one night out behind the farm. I think it was in the back 80. Yeah, pretty sure. So Dad's putting the carrier. I almost called it a loader. It's a carrier. He's putting the carrier in the loader. That's what I was trying to go for, I guess. So putting the carrier in the loader there, and we're going to be getting it down out of the loft. Words are hard today, guys. Just saying. And, yeah, putting it on the parking. We built this carrier a few years ago. It was actually before we had a welder, so we would, like, go down there and we would make all our cuts and then kind of clamp it up how we wanted it or mark it, like this goes to this piece and whatnot. And then Dad would take it to where he works, and his boss is a pretty good welder. And he would weld up all kinds of stuff for us, so... Most of the stuff that we have down there that has been welded was welded by that guy, and he does pretty good work. So yeah, we just got the welder last year, so we haven't really welded a lot. I mean, I dabble. I'm not good, that's for damn sure, but I dabble. So, you know, practice makes decent, right? I haven't even been through like 5 pounds of welding rod yet, so not like I've welded a lot or anything. So, but you can see it sitting there. It's just chilling. All right, so we got the carrier down and we got the sprayer down off the other side, and I'm just gonna back the tractor. And anytime you can back the tractor in the shed and you're not in the sun or whatever, you know, if you need a tool, boom, you're in the shed. Tools are right there. So it's quite nice to, you know, just work in the shed when possible. And the carrier's laying there. So, yeah, good times and stuff. So back when Grandpa was actually farming, we were kind of talking about this tractor and using the hitch to park equipment and whatnot. But this shed, like, you could barely walk through this shed. And he didn't have, like, the shop part, as we call it, in the center. That was all opened up. He would park his truck in there, I think. He had an old grain truck. But this shed was just packed with stuff. Like, actually right there at that door is where he parked his Alice tractor, and it wouldn't fit straight in. So he would actually have to park it in there at like a 45-degree angle. And like the front weights were right up against the door, and the back, the 3-point hitch was up against the post. And it was a whole thing, but, you know, Grandpa made it work. He, like, you know, he had this shed, and then he had our combine shed back there, but really only kept, well, he kept the combine back there and a couple of plows and probably something else, but I'm not sure of. So I kind of was too young for a lot of the farming operations down there and whatnot. You know, it's all good. I wish I would have been born like 10 years earlier, been around like Mike's age, you know, because Mike has a lot more memories down at the farm than I do. So, but it's all good and stuff. So we're gonna put the boards down first. The bottom of the sprayer like has a dimple, not a dimple, the other way. It like goes down so that the sprayer will drain all the way. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. And without the boards, it's kind of hard to, it'll not empty the sprayer. So we've got this rigged up where up on our dashboard on the tractor, there's a little switch with an LED in it. So you can turn the sprayer on and off from the seat, which is kind of nice. And we do actually have booms that we put on this. If you guys watched last year with the spraying of the rye, that's what we use for that. And it's just very handy to be able to sit on the seat and turn the sprayer on and off. All three of our little tractors that we spray with sometimes don't really use that newer Power King, but this Power King and our little Simplicity, they all three have the switch within an arm's reach, so you can turn the sprayer on and off as needed from the seat. It's quite nice. And when we built this carrier, we didn't actually have this sprayer. I'm not totally sure why we even built this carrier. Dad and I were talking about it the other day, and can't really remember other than it was gonna be handy just to have a little like cargo box with us as we're, you know, driving the little tractor around enough to, you know, you could throw a shovel in there, or you could throw a little hand sprayer, let's say, or whatever. So there are actually sides for this little carrier, but with the 25-gallon sprayer, the sides are too small. So if we would have had the sprayer when we were building the carrier, we would have built the carrier just a little bit bigger, and then the sides would work. So they're up in the loft. I think we've only had them on here like once or twice right after we built it, and then we got the sprayer and we're like, well, that just doesn't work at all. So the width is fine. It needs to be a little bit longer out from the tractor, and then it would work. But yeah, so getting the sprayer going for the first time. If you guys remember last fall or so, we winterized with the RV antifreeze, the pink stuff as we call it, and kept our sprayer from freezing and whatnot. So good there, good to go. You must make sure you maintain the equipment, and that's part of maintenance. So it's either that or you go out and buy a new sprayer every year, because it's gonna freeze. Even though we didn't have much of a winter here, it would still freeze. It got cold enough to freeze. So what Dad's going to be doing here is going around the yard kind of and spraying weeds with like a 2,4-D mix. Not really a mix, he just measured out. I guess you are mixing it. Anyway, 2,4-D going after just like broadleaf weeds, dandelions, clover, that kind of stuff all around the yard.
Alright, you guys, as you just saw there, Dad's off to do some spraying. I'm going to go jump on the laser and try to get this grass cut today. As I said earlier, it's a little real right now. So I'm going to wear the GoPro on the head mount until the battery dies. It's almost dead, so you'll see how much you see, and then I'll change the batteries after I'm done. We'll get on to the next project today. We've got a busy day down here at the farm today, so grab our sunglasses and get to it. By the way, much better now. Oh yeah.
Alright guys, so now we've transitioned into the truck. We got all the grass cut. Dad got a bunch of the spraying done around the yard. And there's a couple reasons I'm actually in the truck. One would be it's a good windbreak for the camera, the audio. And the other one, it's easier to see my tablet while I'm flying the drone. So let's go cut over to the drone footage right now. And as you guys can see, I'm flying over the cornfield back here. And they did plant this the other day. I think it was planted yesterday. Unfortunately, I was not down here to see them plant it, so sorry, no drone footage of them planting. We may try to go find somebody planting and go spy on them a little bit. You never know. Somebody that we know, of course. Is what we would do. So we'll go fly over this and go find what we're looking for out here. So now, guys, I've been wanting to have this chat for a while, okay? There's been some questions recently about how, like, do we sustain ourselves or whatever. We don't farm. We're not farmers. Mike and I have never farmed. I guess Mike did a little bit when he was a kid. Grandpa used to own this farm. And we call it a farm. Oh, sorry, Miss Drone Lady. Maximum flight altitude reached. She snapped her fingers and everything at me. So, anyway, Grandpa used to own this piece of property down here, and we will always call it the farm. It is Grandpa's farm. Even though my dad owns 5 acres now, it's always Grandpa's farm, and it always will be Grandpa's farm. So that's just the way it is. Now, having said that, where's my target? There he is. So Dad is actually out here, guys. But anyway, yeah, so we're not farmers. We've never claimed to be farmers per se. And yeah, we do have a big garden down here. That's where the rye is growing and where we grow our pumpkins and all that kind of stuff is the garden. So we call it on the farm because we're on a farm. It may not be, you know, our farm, but it's still a farm. So like I said, my dad owns 5 acres still here. This is where he grew up, these buildings and stuff. This is where Dad grew up. So, yeah, we're down here a lot, and that's that. So, if you guys remember last fall, I went and cut around some telephone poles with the big tractor and the brush hog after harvest was done and everything. Well, right now, the wheat is in the field, right up here, top of the screen, that's all wheat. And then bottom of the screen, inside of the screen, those are actually neighbors' fields. Somebody's on a motorcycle just ripping over there. I don't see him. That's the weird thing. I think I see him. Okay. Anyway, so those were neighbors' fields. The wheat is what used to be Grandpa's land. It's now not. But yeah, so what we do is we go out and we'll maintain around these telephone poles because we're the only one on this like run of electricity. So we kind of feel like it's necessary for us to maintain it. I hear those chickens over there too like crazy. But we feel like it's necessary for us to maintain this out here. And it's one of those things where if you go do it once or twice a year, it's not bad. You know, if you let it get bad, then it's annoying. And actually, let's go fly over to this other pole real quick. There's this other corner here. It's kind of a weird double corner, but it doesn't quite sit on the property line. There used to be a big mulberry bush right here, and it was just kind of left go, and it got out of hand, and it was actually like a real job to go cut that down then. And you know, big chainsaw, and not a big chainsaw, but a chainsaw nonetheless. And we actually ended up burning it down there. Funny story about that fire. That's the fire, if you guys have heard me talk on Twitch, where I think I've said it before there. I actually burned my beard off in that fire. Yeah, it was pretty bad. There was, we had just like a little fire going. It was nothing crazy or big or anything. And there was like this little freak wind gust right at me from the fire. And it just poof, got my beard and didn't like burn it off, but burned it enough to where I had to shave when I got home because it smelled terrible. Just terrible. So Dad's gonna come in, it looks like, go to the next telephone pole. He's being careful to spray along the wheat there, because he is spraying just a little bit of Roundup in there with some 2,4-D. The Roundup will kill the grass. The 2,4-D should take care of pretty much everything else. So, you want to be careful when you're spraying next to that wheat. It's not Roundup Ready wheat. I don't know if that's a thing. That would be awesome if it was. Somebody was actually telling us, one of our neighbors, that they have Roundup Ready sweet corn for this year. It's like, well, that's kind of interesting. But you get out there with the hoe, you can keep your sweet corn pretty clean. So, not too big of a deal. Not too big of a deal. The one that we would want, that we grow down here, is pumpkins. If they had Roundup Ready pumpkins, we would probably use those. That would make life so much easier if we had Roundup Ready pumpkins. So, yeah, that'd be quite awesome. But yeah, you can see there's really not a lot around these telephone poles right now. The farmers do a pretty good job of getting close and spraying around these poles themselves. But with the 90-foot booms and 120-foot booms on these sprayers these days, I can see why it's a little difficult to get too much closer. I wouldn't want to get too close. So, and that pole actually looks kind of weird because of the shadow. We'll approach the next one at a different, we'll go on the other side, actually. That's what we'll do. Go up, make sure we're over the power lines, go out over this wheat, and then we're going to turn, drop it down, and back up because we're pretty close to that pole. These electric poles were put in just after World War II. My grandpa actually helped put these in. There used to be a couple, let's see, I guess just one more on the run down here. Our neighbor's homestead that used to be here, that's not anymore. And yeah, so he actually went up out of the county somewhere and got these electric poles. They were actually used at the time after World War II. They were used electric poles, and they put them in down here. And a couple of them are still hanging on. So they had lots of good chemicals back then. They're probably illegal nowadays. So yeah, there's a reason that they're still hanging on. Lots and lots of chemicals that they used to use. So yeah, but I hope that clears up any of the controversy. Not controversy. Any of the questions about us being farmers. We're not. I would love to farm in real life, not just on Farm Sim. I think that would be like the coolest thing. And actually right now, they're all out planting corn here in real life, so yeah. Oh, and there's one other thing. I want to talk about this tractor a little bit, this Power King 1614. My dad actually used to sell Power Kings back in the day, and he sold this particular Power King actually to my grandpa. It's a mid-80s model, I think around an 85, 86, somewhere in there. And it also has I think it's a 42-inch or 54-inch deck or something. The deck's in the shed. We haven't used it for years and years and years, and actually we can't use it. We sold the electric clutch off of the lawnmowers, or off the tractor, so we can't use the deck anymore. One of these days we'll just sell the decks on Craigslist or something and get rid of them. We've got a couple old Power King decks back there. But so Grandpa actually bought this tractor for a couple of reasons. One was to cut the grass down here because he needed something to cut the grass, and that used to take forever. You would full throttle first gear and just putt out here basically. And I remember cutting it as a kid with it, and it was kind of brutal. I did it a few times, and then Dad started selling ZTRs, and he would bring some of those down here occasionally, and then finally we bought a used ZTR for down here, and that's the Laser that we have now. But the other reason Grandpa bought this tractor was because it has a hydraulic 3-point hitch, and the hydraulic 3-point hitch would also do your deck, so it would lift both actually. And he had an A-frame hitch on there, which showed you guys earlier when I was putting that carrier on. I took that A-frame off. I don't know how that audio turned out. That's why I'm kind of telling the story again. So he had that A-frame hitch, and what he would do is he would hook up his planter, and he would hook up all kinds of stuff to it. And for backing it in our shed, we really only had the 2 sheds. He did use the old corn crib that he converted into a shed out front here, but not for a lot of things. Most things went in the big shed, and he was like the real life Tetris jigsaw master, whatever you want to call it, jigsaw puzzle or Tetris or whatever. He would just pack that shed full of stuff. Just pack it full. I mean, it was crazy. He had the 6 row. He had the 6 row 36-inch corn planter, John Deere actually, and he would sneak that sucker in so tight in that shed you wouldn't believe it. And everywhere you'd possibly put a piece of equipment, he would have one. So made do with what he had, and did a good job. Like our combine shed back there, we don't really go into too often, but our combine shed, you would back the combine in the front door, and then on each side of your combine would sit a plow. I think there was a 4 bottom on one side and a 5 bottom on the next side. And they did a lot of plowing on this farm back in the day, so hence the name Plowboy, my gamer tag. Puma Plow, get it? That's the other part of the Puma Plow. So yep, did a whole lot of plowing back in the day. Dad has lots and lots of stories about plowing and whatnot down here. So yeah, so he's just spraying a few weeds along that wheat. He's on the ground. Let's see. Yeah, he's on ground that has not been planted yet. I think. So you know what? I think it'll be corn this year. The ground he's on. Those farmers are really. They rotate every single year, without fail. They rotate crop. The farmers on the ground that used to be ours. The front field they pretty well rotate 3 crops: wheat, late beans, corn. And then they actually plant the wheat right in the corn stalks usually, without working it or anything. After the late beans is when they start working it. They'll go crazy working it, really get it done. But and then this back piece of property here, 80 acres. The front one was 100 and the back was 80. They will pretty well run that just in corn. Last year they did run it in beans, but most of the time it is all corn all the time. So it just kind of makes sense. It grows really good corn. Did pretty good on beans last year too. I forget the numbers, but did pretty good. So for some reason we're having a weak HD signal today. I think it's because I'm in the truck. Because what I'm actually looking at right now is the 720p video that it is streaming to my Samsung tablet in real time. That's actually how I'm flying. I know where the drone's at. It's out that way, but I can't actually physically see it with my own eyes. But I can see Dad out there across the field. I can't quite see the drone. And actually here in a minute we're gonna have to bring this bad boy home and go charge some batteries, because both my batteries are dead now. I have 2 of these drone batteries. They're kind of expensive, otherwise I'd probably pick up a few more, but for the price they are, it's just good. After I kill both batteries, I'm pretty well done flying anyway. So alright, we're gonna do, yeah, we need to get coming home here, so we're gonna go ahead and back off Dad and go up. Maybe we'll do a hero shot right there where we reverse the footage. Yeah, we might have to do that actually, because those are fun. And then let's go ahead and start screaming towards home here. Give you guys a good shot of the wheat as we come in. And I was wrong. I'll admit it now. I've been not admitting it to Dad, but I'll go ahead and admit it to you guys here that we're getting a low battery warning. Now, gonna go ahead and admit that those tracks out in that wheat, they're gonna show up all summer. That's just the way it's gonna be. So I told you guys they would not show up all summer, but pretty sure they will. So that's okay. Sometimes you can be wrong, right? Alright, we're actually gonna hit the button, and it is flying itself home. I'm not touching anything. I'm just gonna look down so you guys see that wheat down there. We're looking straight down from the drone at 286 feet. Like you guys have heard me say in the past, I can fly to 400 feet legally. So 287, 86 feet's nothing. Nothing at all. So, and there I am sitting in the white truck. I'm in Dad's truck right here. And it's actually getting pretty windy, so I'm gonna let this thing bring itself down a little bit, and then I'll probably land it manually. I feel like I do. Is it not gonna land? I guess it's not gonna land. It brought itself home, but it's not gonna land yet. Okay. Oh no, there it goes landing. Okay, we're gonna turn that off. Stop landing. Thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead and land it because I kind of feel like I can control it a little bit better than the drone itself does. Drone does a really good job flying itself, landing itself, all that good stuff. But I just kind of feel like I do a little bit better sometimes with the landings, a little bit softer. Alright, so we're going to see it up here. Oh, that was the wrong joystick. And like I said, it's getting windy out here today, guys. We got storms rolling in the next couple days, so. There it is. I don't know if you guys probably can't see it. But hello, drone. How's it going? So go ahead and flop her now. The concentration is real, y'all. Alright, we are safely on the ground. We had like a minute and a half or 2 minutes left on the battery before it was going to fly home. It will fly home before it will just put itself down somewhere. It won't crash, it'll put itself down gently. And then what it does, so like right now I'm at 17% of my battery, and it would actually stay on so that I could find it on my map. Because if you guys look here at the tablet, I don't know how well you guys can see that, but that's everywhere I've flown today. If I was somewhere with Wi-Fi, I would actually be able to see like the Google Maps of where I am, and that's kind of cool for when you're flying in town. You're like, oh yeah, I went over so and so's house, or I went down such street, or whatever, something cool like that. But it would show you where you're at in relation to the drone and everything. So it's kind of cool that it has that. Yeah. So the next endeavor on our list today, I think, is going to be lunch, because that is very important. And then next after lunch, I think we're going to come back and we are going to grade the lane and harrow our lane to get it smoothed out. We didn't really have that rough of a winter here as far as like the freezing and thawing cycles. When you get, I can actually quit. I was still filming on the drone out there in the grass. But when you get a lot of freezing and thawing cycles, and then we're driving in and out of the lane, it just gets real bad. You leave ruts, 6 inches deep sometimes out there in that lane. And Dad has stories from when he was a kid. The ruts would be so bad you would just basically take your hand off the wheel, put the pedal to the floor, and just go. Eventually you'll hit frozen ground, and you just go. So you just tear it all up. Dad will be in here in a little bit. I'm going to get some stuff put away in the shed. And yeah, I think we're going to go do lunch, and then we'll come back and start working on the lane. We got to get the blade out of the shed. I'd like to actually mow the highway today too, but I don't know if we're going to have enough time, because that means I got to drive the tractor all the way out to the highway, all the way back in. Let's switch to the blade. Normally I scrape on the sides of the lane and kind of scrape the dirt into the center, and then I kind of smooth it back out after that. But since our lane's not too bad this year, I think I'm just going to go for the center. The center's a little high if we get somebody in here with a little bit lower car than a truck. And it's really not in bad shape. But if we get somebody in here in a car, they can actually kind of bottom out a little bit. So we're going to smooth that center down with the blade. And then we're going to hook up the harrows side by side behind the tractor and pull them a few times. We may use the truck, because the whole thing with the harrows is the speed. The speed is where it's at. If you can go a little bit faster, it works a little bit better. So we may use the truck. We used the truck last year, if you guys recall. We actually used the Grandpa's old blue truck for that, but it's in town now. So we would have to use old white truck here, but it'll pull it. it'll be just fine. So we're gonna break for lunch. I mean, you guys won't miss anything. Don't worry, I'm not gonna film lunch. It's kind of weird. But when we get back, yeah, we'll get cracking on the lane. So keep on watching.
All right, guys. So we just went and had lunch. It was delicious. We had our usual spot Dairy Queen because that's just what we do. So now I'm actually out here on the lane, and we have decided not to grade the lane today because of this. So there's a bunch of grass and weeds and crap in the center, and if you remember from earlier, I said I wanted to take the center out of this lane, and we would just be fighting all the root wads too much with the blade and the harrow. So instead of grading it today, we're going to grade it here in the next couple weeks. But I've got the leftover spray from Dad spraying earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and spray it all now, kill it, and like I said, in the next couple weeks, before it starts growing again, we will go ahead and grade the lane then. So instead of grading, you get some spraying footage. So let's do it.
Alright, you guys, how about that high-speed spraying footage? Now we're on to the corn planter. Man, gotta get that old antique corn planter warmed up, y'all. So this is what you call a push plow. And it's old school, guys. Back in the day, you can still buy them. They do still make them. But we've added the set of wheels for like gauge wheels or depth wheels. So we can set our depth that it goes in the ground and just push the thing along. That's actually a welding project that I did do. I think Dad did some of it too, but I did more of it. We just took pieces of like flat stock and welded them together and welded it to a piece of rod and put some wheels on there and drilled a couple holes in it, and away we go. So we'll probably show this off again when we plant more rows of corn. We've planted these 3. We'll plant probably 6 or so more. We always plant corns in rows of 3. It has to do with pollination and stuff like that, so good times. You can see this push plow is old. I'm not sure where Dad got it from, but it's been around the farm for a long time. We also have a newer metal one. I think we're gonna change and use that one instead, because this one's pretty those handles have seen better days. There's a couple patches on them and whatnot. So now here is the patented back and seed saver. The patented. Dad made this up a few years ago. It's an aluminum trimmer shaft. Yeah, off of a straight shaft trimmer. Just the tube, because you know he works at a place that sells lawnmowers and trimmers, so he can get his hands on trimmer shafts pretty easy. And it's just a piece of wood and a funnel and a little tuna can to hold your seed. It actually is quite handy and helpful. And you can see we're not planting too deep because they were calling for some rain, so that would help get the corn up. We do need to mess with our little plow thing to get it just a little bit deeper. We'll do that for the next planting. And you can see we're just going to rake it back shut and tamp it down a little bit time to time, and away we go. I think this is the fastest that we have ever planted corn down there, because normally you have to use like a hoe, or we have a heart hoe, it's called. It's in the shape of a heart, and to make the little furrow thing, and that's kind of a pain and whatnot, but with our little walk-in push plow thing, it's just awesome. So just awesome. Let's speed this footage up just a little bit. And yeah, so I know some of you guys, not all y'all, some of y'all, God, some of you like the longer videos, so I'm hoping you enjoyed this one. If you're still watching at this point, you're awesome, and thank you so much, and I hope you hit that like button, and we'll see what we get into next week on the farm, as we like to call it. But yeah, thanks for watching this far in. We're over 40 minutes now, so it's awesome. Appreciate it, guys. And I can't guarantee that all of them are going to be this long, because, you know, some days we're not down there very long, and sometimes there's just not a lot going on. But this particular Sunday, what did we do? We started with, I don't even remember. What did we start with? Stuff. Stuff and things. Had to cut the grass, the drone. Next video, yeah, next on the farm video, assuming the weather's good, this coming Sunday, the day this video is released, I'll actually be flying back down along those telephone poles just to see how the spray's working and whatnot. And actually, that one patch that I said is the neighbors that will be planting in corn, that was planted later this same day, actually. I didn't get any footage of them planting because we don't really know them, and that's kind of creepy if I'm just like spying on them. I did try to fly the drone over that way while they were planting, but I was having some like weird interference issues, and I had to bring the drone back real fast. I almost lost it twice in that flight, actually, because I went and flew over another farmer that was out planting, and it was just very strange, and I didn't really feel comfortable continuing the flight and leaving the drone out there, so I had to bring it back right away. Otherwise, I think I might have lost it, because it was not cooperating. It was being very, very strange. So yeah, so I have a little bit of footage from that, but it's nothing of substance or anything, so I'm not gonna put that in this video. Maybe sometime in the future, if I don't have any footage or something, I'll throw together something for that. I don't know, I doubt it. But yeah, planting corn, good times. Like I said, just about the fastest we've ever planted corn. Back to potatoes a couple weeks ago too. Same thing there. You know, with the three of us on potatoes, we were rocking that out. So you can see it's just the two of us on corn, but still rocking it out pretty good. So yeah, we'll be planting more soon, and hopefully this year the deer don't get all of our corn. We are going to try. I know somebody last year in a comment recommended like a radio, like a speaker, outdoor speaker. I think we're gonna try to mount some speakers on the shed or something, because we have a radio in the shed that we could hook them up to, and blast some tunes or something when we're not there. I don't know. Apparently, if you have just music playing, it gets, or talk radio or anything, apparently it gets rid of the deer. It drives them away. They don't like it, or they think there's people there, I guess. So they're not a fan. So I think we're going to be trying that. We should probably get that all rigged up here before too long, just to have it ready to go, because those deer, man, they come in, it's crazy. But anyway, guys, I'm John, the voiceover guy. I'm going to get on out of here. Please hit that like button for more. I do appreciate y'all watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and hey, you know what? Tell all your friends. Why not? Toodles and stuff.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching another On the Farm video. I do appreciate it. I am John from PumaPlow.com. Toodles.